And at this point, we will be getting some insights now from political scientist Antonio Contreras, now joining us via Zoom. Welcome again sa Afternoon Delight, Professor Ton, si Lourdes Vera po ulit, at si Denise Tan.
Magandang hapon po.
Magandang hapon din sa inyong dalawa. Thank you for having me.
Thank you again, sir, for your time. Alam ko po, busy kayo na nakatutok po doon sa hindi mini trial, ika nga ng isang nag-repost. Pero so far, your thoughts on the proceedings, kamusta ho ba ang pag-handle ito para sa inyo?
Well, so far naman, mukhang well managed ang hearing. Talagang may mga hindi pinapalusot si Congresswoman Luistro, for example, yung mga probing questions na hindi na clarificatory katulad nung kay, naalala ko yung question ni Representative Antonio Tino, tinanong niya bakit Sir Raman tawag sa'yo. So, pinigilan siya doon ni Congresswoman Luistro na hindi na yon clarificatory, yun ay probing na kasi question na nung why. And not just a question of describing the evidence.
O nga, parang ang hirap ngayon isipin, Sir Ton, kung ano na lang ba pwede itanong?
Well, basically kino-confirm lang
Yeah.
here. Confirmatory lang ikaw.
Opo.
Ba't to? Ano yan? Saan yan? I think those are clarificatory
Opo.
to establish. Hinayaan na lang nila na yung mismong witness ang siyang magsalaysay. Kasi pag question kasi ng why, it's about probing already.
Opo.
Pero pag yung when, where, how,
Yung tanong
yun
po
ay-
ni Sir, Congressman Jokno about the cellphone that supposedly contains the evidence, do you think fair na pinigilan po yun? O why na rin ho ba yun?
well, kasi hindi siya parang I think the reason why that was not, because it was not part of the original affidavit of Madriaga. Hindi niya prinisend as exhibit. Siguro. Kasi kung inilagay niya sana doon yung mismong cellphone, yung mismong laman, yung screenshot ng laman ng cellphone, then that is already ripe for questioning na yan ba, totoo yan, isa yung number ba yan, yan ba galing kanino. Pero kung yun ay issue na ano yung laman, na hindi naman niya pinakita kung yung laman sa kanyang affidavit, then yun na siguro ang fishing expedition. That it should be made clear, dapat i-limit lang doon sa mga sinubmit na affidavit.
Sir, sa tingin ninyo, so far, kung base mo lang sa mga preliminaries lang, malaki ho ba magiging epekto nito sa VP?
Yes. Actually, I'm even wondering whether nag-stick pa rin yung sinabi na Atty. Panelo, the son and not the father, na weak link si Madriaga. I don't think he's a weak link here. He has provided daming testimony. Pinakita niya yung tungkol dun sa hindi ang number one dito na talagang na-weaken ang credibility ni Vice President Sara Duterte, yung sinabi niya, hindi ko kilala yan, hindi na kami close, wala kaming ugnayan. Pero ayun, pinakita doon yung nag-greet siya pa ng happy birthday, yung tawag niya Sir Ram, yung mismong hinanap niya pa para iabot yung flag. I think this, and also the fact that, they are together in a Zoom meeting, it's something that it's clear na meron silang ugnayan. And I think it's also important to understand that I'm watching the proceeding, yung panahon na nag-burst into tears na si Ramil Madriaga. It is a very important, poignant moment because it talks about the authenticity of the testimony. Of course, the critics will say masyadong drinama, timing. Pero sa akin, parang napaka-authentic na talagang yung sama ng loob niya na siya ay nagtrabaho na matagal, isinaya niya pa lahat ang kanyang, pati yung pinaggumawa pa siya ng illegal na bagay para lang sa mga ito. I think ang pinagmulan talaga ng kumagasano ng hugot ni Ramil Madriaga, yung pinabayaan siya na kasuhan ni Roque, ni Harry Roque. Di ba kasi kung tanda mo, Lord, di ba pinapunta pa nga si Ramil at saka yung mga farmers sana sa lugar ni Sara Duterte. Tapos later on, nung naando na, biglang hindi ko na sila kakausapin. Siguro nasabihan na nga si Sara na huwag mong galawin yan kasi kay Harry Roque yan. So, doon, the betrayal is there. I think the betrayal is there. And that's where, at tapos buti kung walang nangyari sa mama, ay nakulong na. Nakasuhan, nakulong. So, I think that is a very powerful motivation to set the record. I think doon nagkamali ang kampo ni Sara Duterte. Binigyan niya ng rason si Ramil Madriaga to pag sabihin na natin to para gumante.
Oo po.
Pero Prof, do you think this would actually have this would have an actual or make a difference dun sa mga sinasabing solid supporters niya, and how would this affect, I guess, the public trust given yung sinasabi nga nila drama daw and all that?
Well,
At yung column ni Prof ngayon. Oo.
Nalitin pa rin si ano.
Forget the DDS, the 33%, the very hardcore. They're a lost cause, I tell you. Hindi naman kailangan ng pag-usapan yung may talaga kahit ano siguro mangyari, they're going to be
Wala
Duterte. I think what is interesting regarding the survey conducted by WR Numero, yung number ni Sara, siya pa rin ang pagdating sa plurality, siya ang number 1. Pero ang kanyang number nagpa-plateau na. Kasi yung number niya last survey hanggang ngayon wala nang statistical difference. Pero ang bumawas, ang bumaba ay yung undecided. Bumaba. Tapos marami doon lumipat kay BBM na yung 8% at yung 5% sa pink yellow opposition. We have to qualify the opposition pink yellow because they are opposition, and the Duterte supporters because they're also presenting themselves as opposition now. So yun yung nakakabahala dapat kay Sara kung tatanungin mo, yung nagpa-plateau na, it's too early for her to plateau.
Doon po sa column po ninyo, first of 3 parts po sa Manila Times, sinabi niyo na yung lead niya should be interpreted with caution. Dahil isa dito, walang solid opponent, kamo ninyo, kumbaga disjointed yung opposition, at yung key variable ay hindi yung sa tao niya, kundi yung behavior ng mga tao sa labas ng circle siya. Pwede pong pakiliwanag yun, sir?
Sa tingin ko, kung manalo si Sara Duterte with a 33%, it's not her. You should not be blaming her or her supporters. We should be blaming the supporters that are not Sarah's, the critics of Sara. Kung manalo siya, hindi natin pwedeng sisihin na gawa ng mga DDS yan. No. Ang sisisihin natin yung mga dilawan, mga pink na ayaw makipag-unite sa mga BBM loyalists, yung mga napaka-holier than thou, yung mga napaka-purist, yung ayaw makipag-alyansa. Yun tingin ko. It's like I said in my column, it's not, Duterte will not win in 2028 because of herself. She's going to win because of the fragmentation or the fracture of those who are not or who are against her.
Eto, sir, ano naman kaya, may epekto ba, makakatulong? Hindi ko alam, o baka wrecking ball. Itong launch kahapon ng isang grupo na, sabihin natin na napaka-charming ng kanilang ng appeal po nila. Very boyish ang charm ng Rage Coalition. At nakoy, bago presidente po ng PDP laban.
Oo nga.
Well, of course, you have to understand, that they are banking on the Duterte name again. Tama naman ang katukayo kong si Representative Tino Baka plan B nila ito. Kasi na baka delikado si Sara na ma-impeach talaga at ma-convict. So, hindi siya pwedeng tumakbo. Baka ginagawa nilang plan B sa Baste. But seriously, you have to understand, this is a major political party, so to speak. And if what they can offer is Baste, who doesn't have that, I would say, qualification for now to become president, ay talaga namang sa tingin ko ay talagang ewan ko lang. Kasi parang mag-offer naman kayo ng seryoso na alternative. But I'm not saying that but tingnan natin at least si Sara Duterte nung mag-ambisyong maging vice president, kahit ngayon mag-ambisyon siyang presidente, ang track record niya, naging mayor siya ng Davao, naging secretary ng education, naging vice president. Let us forget about her record first.
Tama po.
Okay, importante meron siyang naging posisyon. Si Baste, kaya lang na siya naging mayor kasi yung tatay niya nakakulong. Di ba vice mayor siya?
Apo.
And so, ngayon, naging mayor siya dahil wala to replace the tatay. And now, kinoconsider siya to become the head. He's now elected as the head of the PDP and he's being considered to run for president in case Sara Duterte gets impeached. But out of nowhere. So I think it is incumbent upon us to ask anong plataforma ng gobyerno niya. Kasi ang sinabi lang niya napaka-remarkable nung kanya nagsalita ay gusto niya lang ang ulo ni President Marcos i-offer sa kanya. So if that is the only thing that drives your politics, then you are in deep trouble as a country.
Salome.
Pero Prof, meron bang meron bang early indicators whether or not itong coalition na to would have a chance to succeed, o yung makikita mo kagad na parang wala talaga?
Well, it will animate the Duterte base, which is the diehard. But as to whether it's going to expand, I doubt it. I doubt it. Because for example, if you look at the indicators, sino bang mga political figures ang naandun sa Club Filipino? Wala naman ako
winners.
nakita na ang senador doon, si Bongo lang yata nakita ko, saka si Padilla, si Robin Padilla. Sa members ng House, parang nabanagan ko lang si Leandro Leviste, who finally admitted his real political color, right? So, who else? Hindi ko alam, naano ba si Amy Marcos? Ando ba si
Wala yata.
Rodante Marcoleta? Andun ba si Rodante Marcoleta? Andun ba
Naalala
si
ko
Jingo? Andun ba si Jinggoy? Andun ba si
Speaker of the House
Alan
dati.
Peter?
Doon.
So, I think you have to understand whether what makes this as an attractive movement is when you look at the people who are there. So, for now, I'm suspending my judgment, pero alam mo tong mga politiko na to, marunong dito magbasa ng tea leaf, alam nila what will make them win in 2028.
Show
and
me who your friends are.
what will just be an albatross or a baggage.
Correct.
Now, the other thing that I want to explain, Lord and Denise, yung kasing angas politics, for the lack of a better word, yung maangas ka, yung bargas.
Opo.
Sa tingin ko, nagiging toxic ba nandyan sa ngayon? Alam mo kung bakit?
Bakit po?
Kasi nangyari sa Amerika, si Donald Trump is like that. But look what happened now to the world. 'Di ba? So yung ganyang politika na populist, maangas, briding on image and instead of substance, optical ang pagtingin sa politika, hindi logical on substantive. I think that brand is losing its magic. Orban of Hungary lost.
Grabe yun.
Despite the endorsement of
Yes.
J.D. Vance.
Yes.
So I think identity politics is already, at the end of the day, mapapagod din ng tao sa pagiging galit. Kasi tingnan mo, ang kanilang pangalan, rage, galit, pero accountability daw. Sabi ko, accountability, whatever. Baka ako i-blip ninyo pag sinabi ko yung ASS.
Gusto ko yung meaning na sinare ni
Accountability, but you have to understand, accountability, pero pinagtatanggol nyo gusto nyo ma-insulate si Sara for accountability. Kung ano mga TRO ginagawa, mga, ba't hindi na lang harapin yung kaso, di ba? Now, but poot, galit.
Oo.
Madali, yan sa lahat, sabi ko nga sa mga kausap ko, mga estudyante, that is the most viable emotion to exploit in politics,
Yes.
right? Anger, frustration. However, mapapagod din ng tao sa galit at puot. At the end of the day, they're going to ask anong solusyon. Kasi katulad ngayon, galit tayo, pero may nagagawa ba ang galit?
Oo.
Bumababa ang presyo ng langis,
Correct.
hindi naman. Wala. So ang tanong dito, sino magdadala sa'yo ng solusyon? Kasi kung puro lang galit, rally dito, strike dito, bunganga dito, meme anong nakukuha natin? Nagpapalabas lang tayo ng sama ng loob, nagiging toxic ang landscape, pero wala, andun pa rin ang problema. So at the end of the day, people will begin to ask, so what is your solution? I think that's going to happen. Siguro yun din bilang sa media, kayo. Pag kausapin nyo si Baste, interview him and ask him anong solution niya sa problema na nangyayari sa bansa. I could be wrong. Baka mamaya magulat tayo, marami pala siyang alam. Marami pala siyang gustong gawin.
Kahit nag-chewing gum siya nung nag-speech. Oo, di ba?
I think he should be judged beyond the tattoo.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
he should be judged beyond the initial, kung baka naman mayroon siyang may offer, maliban doon sa kanyang gusto niyang iserve sa plato yung ulo ng tao.
Correct. At dahil Pilipinas to, hindi yon outside the realm of possibility lahat yung sinasabi natin. Pero, Prof, abangan po namin ang susunod po na installment ng inyong column.
Sa Huwebes po.
Sa Huwebes po, sa Manila, Sarah's Lead. Maraming salamat again for your insights. Thank you for sharing them with us. Professor Antonio Contreras, always a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Salamat po.
Thank you.